I'm a big believer in the power of frameworks, and I want to share with you a 4-piece framework I use and teach to my own coaching clients about how to create value and generate wealth in their lives. Hi, I'm Charlie Mann with Law Firm Alchemy, and this is one of the most important frameworks that I've ever constructed, and it's been done through observation over the last decade plus of seeing how the people around me, many of whom who have been mentors, coaches, guides, facilitators, leaders in my life, that have shown me a path on how to create value and generate wealth as the person that you are. And it's 4 simple stages, and the great thing is as we go through each one of these stages, you only have to change one word in order for it to progress. And I'll show you what it is. So coming up hot here, the first way that you get paid in life. So that's the structure we're going to use here. The way you get paid in life. You're going to hear me use that reference. This is both about the value that you put out into the world and the way that you generate wealth. Both of which, by the way, are hand in hand. The more value that you create, the more wealth you can bring to yourself. The more wealth that you can bring to yourself, the more value you can create. These are intertwined concepts. And never mistake that, intertwined concepts. There are a lot of people out there who will teach you just put value out and the wealth will come. That's not necessarily true. I mean, you have to learn how to ask for the money, set a price, sell people. This is part of business here. But on the other side, just because someone generates wealth doesn't mean they're then going to create extra value in the world. This is really for people who want to have an impact greater than the number on the spreadsheet and is more as well than just the words that they say out in public. It's a combination of the two. So item number 1 on the list of value and wealth in our hierarchy, you get paid for what you do. This is the first stage of value for every human being. You will get paid for what you do, whether it's your ability to create videos or to write a sales letter or to produce research in a case or to go and file something or to answer the phone well. You get paid for what you do. Most people will stay at the level of getting paid for what they do. But the next level is you get paid for what you know. Oftentimes, as you become really good at what you do, you accumulate a certain amount of knowledge, the what you know, that allows you to add a new layer of value to your life. Let's take an estate planning attorney, for example. If at first you become really good at actually generating the court documents, the next thing that you get paid for is all of the different strategies that you accumulate to make those documents better. So you stop getting paid just because you're capable of generating the documents, and you start getting paid for the strategies that you share with your clients. The way that you are able to design a better plan for them, and that elevates your ability to charge higher prices, to bring in more valuable clients. So we've moved from stage 1 to stage 2. There's a lot of people in life who will move from this stage, especially in the professional context of a law firm. As a matter of fact, I can just about guarantee that 90% of the people who watch this video who are lawyers or law firm owners are already well into stage 2, getting paid for what you know. This is where the dynamic starts to shift significantly, and we get into massive value creation territory because most people don't level up here to the stage 3, and I'll tell you about that right now. So you get paid for what you do. You get paid for what you know. Now you get paid for who you know. You've probably heard the phrase, your network is your net worth. This is where it really kicks in. Item number 3, you get paid for who you know. A lot of times when I'm working with a law firm, one of the fastest ways to generate more value in that firm and to bring in more cases, clients, files, etc., is to build the network, to work on referral marketing, and to really focus on the idea of getting to know other people, being interested in them, and being of interest to them, which we'll talk about even more as we head into stage 4. But getting paid for who you know is this radical shift that most people will never get into for 2 reasons. One of the reasons is you might have a network, but you're afraid to ask of that network. The point of building a network, the reason people want to be connected is to pass value back and forth when we are at our highest level in purpose. If people are afraid of passing value back and forth, probably because they're plain scared, and will those really make great partners for you long term? No, of course not. The second reason is the introvert problem. I say this as someone who would consider my natural state of being to be an introvert, but the truth is that if you were to meet me, you would think I'm an extrovert. You might think that right now with the energy, the excitement, the hands waving around like I'm a Muppet that I have on this video. But my natural state is probably more introverted. This is a pattern that I observed out in the world where I saw people getting paid okay for what they do, then getting paid a good deal more for what they know, then getting paid a radically larger amount for who they knew. You wonder why when sometimes you go to lawyer events, you will see the vendors there networking with each other. Chances are it's that they understand the value of a network. Now, here's the difficulty. You may think about the introvert problem being, well, I don't want to go out and I don't want to meet all the people and I get socially exhausted. That's a mindset. And I say that as someone who really experiences life mostly through the introvert style. But I also understand, why lock ourselves in a box? There's a great book by Dr. Benjamin Hardy called Personality Isn't Permanent. I remember reading that book and I already had some suspicions that maybe this whole I'm an introvert thing was a load of BS that I was selling to myself. And instead I realized I just have multiple modalities and I'm allowed to train up the extrovert side. I can train myself to love the relationships so that way it is no longer, when you're first doing an exercise and you have to be really conscious of your form and everything, then you get good at it and you stop thinking about it. I don't think about it anymore because I know that the goal is to be paid for who I know, not just what I know, and definitely not for what I do. If I do the coaching and I know a lot of information and strategies I can distribute, what it really gets worked on is who do I know? What connections am I building? How can I interlock those relationships and introduce one person to another? These are all skill sets that every law firm owner should work on, because if you want to scale a multi-million-dollar practice, you have to build out the level of who you know. The last level is, if stage 1 is you get paid for what you do, stage 2 you get paid for what you know, stage 3 you get paid for who you know, stage 4 and the final one is you get paid for who you are. This is an amazing concept, and you may already be salivating over the idea of getting paid for who you are rather than any of the other work that goes into this. Understand, getting paid for who you are is difficult, and to become a who you are to other people, you need to have other people that you have met, and they need a reason to have you in their lives, the what you know and the what you do. That allows us to ascend to getting paid for who we are. You think about a copywriter like, say, Dan Kennedy, gets paid a good deal more than your average other copywriter, but even by Dan's own admission, he's not the best copywriter in the world. However, he built himself into Dan Kennedy. He is a who you are moneymaker. It allows him to charge more. It allows him to have exceptional price elasticity. There are lots of law firm owners who you may be familiar with. The biggest example is, and not everyone likes it, is John Morgan. John Morgan is paid for who he is, not who he knows, not what he knows, not what he does, but simply who he is. Obviously, he's crafted all those other parts of the world, of his world, so that way it leads up to him just being John Morgan, and that generates more money. As you progress through this, you may want to try and skip a step. That's very natural. Right now, you may be thinking, well, can I skip the relationship step, going and getting to know people, and just become a person that people want to know, and skip to stage 4? I'm sorry, that's ego talking when that happens. If you don't actually care about meeting other people and all you want is to be a person that other people should know, clearly that's just ego getting in the way. Build out being paid for who you know, learn how to build those connections, and eventually you establish yourself as a central node. I have to give credit for today's use of the word node to my new friend, Tony Albrecht, who runs the agency Contender, which helps law firm owners build their LinkedIn presence and create content that resonates on that platform. And Tony was talking about this recently in a video that he posted on the platform about how you create nodes. And this was, a really interesting, compelling discussion, creating nodes and becoming someone who knows other people until you are at the point where there's so many spokes coming out of you, the hub, that you are ultimately paid for who you are. Business naturally flows through you. Opportunities naturally come to you because you've built this platform for yourself going through these other 3 stages. The majority of firm owners that I work with are going to be stage 2, moving into stage 3, or right in between, and need some guidance on how to move into stage 3 before they progress all the way into stage 4. Love this journey, by the way, wherever you are at on this, whether you are at stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, or stage 4, love that part of the journey. Get great at it because it makes the next part of the journey that much easier. Right now, if you feel like you're paid for what you do, focus on learning more about the industry, the profession, the core strategies, the principles behind what you are doing. So that way you can evolve into getting paid for that knowledge. If you have a lot of knowledge right now, and this is the hardest shift to make, understand it's not just about what's in your head, but about the people you surround yourself with, and go surround yourself with better people. Reach out. Others are looking forward to making connections. This is the crazy little trick of stage 3 of the who you know level. Other people are just waiting for the invitation from you. We live in a world where everyone is waiting for the invitation. They're waiting for you to reach out, and all you need to do is extend that hand, send that letter, send the email, the message on a social media platform and say, hey, I'd like to sit down with you, get to know you a little bit better. What's the worst thing that happens? They say, no, sorry, I don't have the time. Whoop-de-doo, there's a dozen other people who will talk with you. You cannot play against the no. You have to play for the yes. These 4 stages of creating value and wealth in your life are extremely powerful. It's a framework that I use in my own life, and I make sure my coaching clients are using as well, because it's one of the great points of guidance. It's a great structure that you can use to better understand how you will create value. There's even in your day-to-day life as a law firm owner, if you feel like you're spending too much time doing stuff and you're being paid more for what you do, you need to let other people handle the what you do portion. If you're so focused on being the strategist and you've got to be the smartest person in the room, you got to know everything, you got to have all the answers, and you're so focused on getting paid for what you know, you need to let other people be the smart ones in your law firm. Either you need to get them the training, or you need to hire better people who will fill in the what you know gap, because you want to leave that behind and start getting paid for what you know. Then eventually you're going to show your team how to build relationships in the community, and you're going to start getting paid just for who you are. And you ascend this ladder, you create more value, you generate more wealth for yourself while you go through the process. If this kind of thing really excites you and you want to dig deeper into the world of what's going on behind the scenes with coaching clients at Law Firm Alchemy, learn a lot more about frameworks like this one and dozens of others, strategies and tactics that go into growing a great law firm, make sure you take a look at the description below for a link to sign up for our free strategies and tactics email list, where we deliver just some of the best free, high quality ideas and information directly out of my own coaching practice and straight from the law firms that I coach. Sign up down in the description below, and then make sure you check out another one of these videos and subscribe to the channel.